now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show brings you famous celebrities and amazing people from all over the world. Listen online at themikewagnershow.com and on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeart Radio. And watch the interview on YouTube. So sit back and relax and enjoy the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition way. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support at sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeart Radio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, and Apple. And coming to a few more platforms near you, take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device and subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on YouTube as well. We're here with a wonderful lady living in the Los Angeles area, originally from Pittsburgh, PA. She's a producer, writer, and composer for TV and film. She's won numerous awards, and she's also got a book called The Textbook, a guide to communicating better. We don't mean the school books. We're talking about textbook, how to properly text, the etiquette of texting. So just get ready to LOL or LMAO on this one, or sometimes you'll be saying WTH or WTF on this one, or sometimes you'll be like SMH or IDK that, which is I didn't know that. So I just learned some, but never say IDK on this one, because she'll probably give you a good lecture, make you read the book. Ladies and gentlemen, live from Los Angeles, just making sure she wasn't texting and driving, and teach you how to text better, which I'll probably do after I get done. Elizabeth Rossi. Elizabeth, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Wow, that was quite an introduction. There's a lot of acronyms in there. I like it.
and were you texting at the same time as well, too, to somebody, or just say hey, or like HI on MWS? Hey, I'm on Mike Wagner Show. That's what it is. Or I could have just said MWS.
That's going to be, the newest acronym out there now.
and I think thanks to you, that's going to be starting as well, too. So, unfortunately, I can't text and interview as well, too. Texting and driving, that's illegal. Texting and drinking, that's even worse. Texting and fill in the blank, just as bad as well. So you grew up from the Pittsburgh area, and you came to Los Angeles. You're a producer, writer, composer for TV and film. You worked on the Project Pittsburgh, Killing Point, Baseball's Last Hero, A Lesson of Love, All Saints Eve, and you're also the author of The Textbook, Guide to Communicating Better. You've also won numerous awards, and you also produced some music. And before we get into your wonderful career and talking about The Textbook, tell us how you got started.
Well, as a writer, I've just always been a writer. It's just been so inherent in my nature. So when I go back to Pittsburgh now to visit, I still find composition notebooks from when I was like 8 years old, filled with short stories and poems and song lyrics, like all kinds of things. So it's just something I've always done, I think, since, the time I could probably walk.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what else made the move for you going from Pittsburgh to L.A.?
Well, out of college, I started to realize, that the opportunities are really for that industry are really, of course, based more in New York and L.A. And while there are some opportunities, in other areas, I just really feel like those two are the hubs. So, I picked up and made the move, and it's been wonderful. I love it.
That's amazing, too. What was the one moment that influenced you into getting into writing, composing, and also doing some music, and most importantly, writing the book?
Well, I think from the musical side, it's interesting that you ask that, because I've always kind of kept music a very private, like personal, just a creative outlet for myself. But I come from a very musical family. So it's, again, it's just something that's in my blood that I've grown up around. And two of my brothers are professional recording artists. My other brother owns a music studio. It's just all around me. Unfortunately, one of my brothers passed away about 2.5 years ago.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
Thank you. From that, I've just had this drive to get more into the music side of it, kind of as a way to carry on his legacy and honor him in some way by using, my musical talents. Because we would actually all play together as a family band sometimes, and so that was probably the one moment that really kind of prompted me to start exploring more musical opportunities. But aside from that, the writing, like I said, I've just always done it. And a couple years ago, I got my mom a smartphone for Christmas. And that kind of prompted me to look into texting because she was asking me a lot of questions. And I really started to, just by researching some of these things, I started to notice kind of, I hate to say the word crisis, but it's almost just like this impact that texting has had on our society. And just, and it's not always a positive impact, as I'm sure you can imagine. We have this powerful little device in our hand that we can use to communicate with virtually anyone in the world, but we're not maybe using it the best way that we can be. So a lot of people are feeling more disconnected, more lonely, more depressed. And unfortunately as well, the rates of suicide have gone up since texting was invented. And so I'm sure there were other factors involved with that, but I do feel like texting was probably a contributing factor to that. So I wrote the book in an effort to help people learn how to text better, learn how to communicate better, and really connect with each other, because it's become the most popular, form of communication that everyone uses now. So, how can we do it better? And that's really what the book's about.
And of course, you said about when it came to suicide rates, I kind of just said to myself, SMH, just shaking my head at this point. I'm sure everybody knows as well, too. And also, too, since you did some research, how do the names like, say, LOL, laughing out loud, or some of the popular texting codes came about? And what are some of the unknown ones that people don't use? And what are some of the up-and-coming texting codes say, TTB, the textbook, or say, let's say... I'm just trying to think. ATN all together now, things like that. So how do these come up, and how do they get to be popular, and what are some that are not being used, and what are some that's in the works of becoming used?
Mike, that is a great question. In the book, I actually have a whole subsection on acronyms, because they're always changing. There's new ones popping up and other ones fade. And even the most popular ones like LOL, that LOL can actually have over 100 different meanings, believe it or not, based on the location that you're in, the geographical location, or the industry that you're in. Like LOL, most people, I think, take it to mean laugh out loud, but it can also mean lots of love. If you're in like accounting or a legal industry, it can mean loss of liability. There's actually a women's group in Louisiana. They sign off LOL, Ladies of Louisiana.
So amazing.
It's yeah. So you never know. So with acronyms, I always tell people, first off, not to use them in a professional setting, because there's a couple instances in research where corporations have actually faced lawsuits over employees' use of acronyms. So don't use it professionally, but use them. Feel free with family or friends that you've known a while. Even here in LA, I'll meet someone and it seems like, at least a couple of times a week, I'll see a new acronym come across them that, I message them like, hey, so what does that mean? Or what did you mean by that? Because, they're just always, new ones coming out. So,
and what are the most overused ones, and what do you consider the most annoying?
Good. You're full of good questions today. I love it. The most overused one, I think for me personally, I do see LOL probably after sentences where they're not laughing out loud, mm-hmm. But it's just maybe a way to kind of get the mood across or express really what they're trying to say, like in a lighthearted way. Mm-hmm. But so I do think that one is really overused. But I love it. Like I love making people laugh and laughing myself. So I feel like most people, that's really their intent. They want to, they want to make you laugh. So, but yeah, I do see that one a lot. That's probably the most popular, most common. There's one I saw about a month or so ago, which was #QF. And I'm still not 100% sure what it meant, because in the context, it was not, I looked it up actually on an Urban Dictionary to see what it was. Yeah, and both of the definitions on there were probably not good to say in mixed company.
Right. I understand it. And if you're not comfortable saying it on the air, it's like, we understand. So we don't want you getting in trouble. So we totally understand.
Yeah. So you can go to Urban Dictionary and you look up the #QF, you'll see. Yeah. So that one, there's just some really annoying ones that you can't figure out, but it happens.
Mm-hmm. And of course, how did the hashtag get started as well?
Well, I think initially it got started because texting, and I addressed this actually, I think in the first chapter of the book, where it goes over kind of the history of texting. It was developed in the late 1990s, and I think the first text actually sent was "Merry Christmas" by a couple guys in the UK. And so because of network restrictions at that time, the text messages were limited to 160 characters. Uh-huh. So I think that's how a lot of the texting language actually got started, as far as with the acronyms and shortening, words from YOU to just putting you, and because you had to try to fit as much as you could in that 160 character limit. Now, of course, though, we have, MMS and some of the other instant messaging applications that are out there, so we don't really have that restriction anymore. But acronyms, they're just fun, and with the hashtag, it just it adds that little bit of character to it. Mm-hmm. And then the hashtags are also used, of course, with searches and social media and things like that. So. Mm-hmm.
And what do you think the next thing you see when it comes to texting, like say with different symbols or a different technique? What do you see next thing when it comes to texting?
Oh, the next big thing. That's like you said, another good question. I really like Apple's latest app that they have, where you can turn your face into like a little animal, and it uses your voice, and then you can send that to text back and forth. I think that's really cute. So I think we're going to start seeing more things like that, mm-hmm. Or probably in that realm.
Mm-hmm. That's something, too. Almost sounds like a text-to-speech back in the day, or speech-to-text, which was, predecessor before that. So it sounds like texting has really come a long way.
Yeah, it really has. I'm a writer, not a mathematician, but 1999, let's say, to 2019 is 20 years? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's really developed, and it is the most common form of communication today, mm-hmm. that we have. So, just doing it Yeah, I feel like we can all probably do it a little better, myself included.
LOL.
LOL, yes.
And soon to be LMAO. So,
yes.
All right, we'll talk a little more about your book. We'll also talk about a little about your music and some of the movies you've been in. You're listening to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. And you can try Texas, by the way. You're listening to The Mike Wagner Show. That's MWS at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios or SWS. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaker and budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition way. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeart. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, and Apple. You can also take The Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. You can also subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on YouTube as well. And you can also type MWS on Google as well, too. So hopefully they'll be making popular pretty soon. We're here with Elizabeth Rossi, producer, writer, composer for TV and film. She's from the Pittsburgh, PA area, now living in Los Angeles. She's also the author of the textbook, Guide to Communicating Better, which we're communicating right now. And hopefully you aren't texting and trying to talk at the same time. So we just have that. So once again, for those who are listening, please do not text and drive, and don't drink and text. That's probably the worst thing. And of course, don't send anything inappropriate, especially pictures, text, email, or anything like that. And I'm sure that's a big issue as well, too. And also, now you wrote about the textbook, and you also majored in computer information and professional writing. So before we get to some of your projects as well, computer information. So tell us how you got interested in computers as well, too, at Pittsburgh.
Well, I wanted to do something that was going to be intellectually challenging. So I looked into pre-law and pre-med and studied both of those each for a year, and decided they weren't for me. Mm-hmm. I started pursuing more of the writing classes, creative writing, press release writing, like all the different writing classes that was offered. And then, I was looking around, at my fellow students and recent graduates, and most of the writing majors were working as servers in restaurants. And I was like, okay, so if I really want my writing career to take off, I need a way to support myself until that happens. And, computers are something that I've just always had an interest in. And even today, I still do some technical writing for a software company and help them out with that. So, I just really have a strong interest in that, and have multiple articles online about artificial intelligence and machine learning and how that's going to affect society coming up here, and the potential negative side effects to that too. Mm-hmm. But anyways, so I've just always had a strong interest in computers because, again, it's something that's just ever changing, and you have to constantly stay on top of to keep sharp at it. So
mm-hmm. You mentioned AI earlier as well, too. That's been a real hot topic when it comes to AI, artificial intelligence. And there's also talk that AI may be replacing some jobs as well. Do you see that as a reality? And if so, which jobs would be affected by AI?
I think the use of AI in the workforce, I think, is going to be something that we see as a growing trend. I feel like the thing that people should be mindful of, though, is not. I don't feel like it's going to take jobs away. It's going to allow people, rather than having to, rubber stamp the same piece of paper 100 times, mm-hmm. which is going to be monotonous and mind numbing, and for anyone who has to do that.
Right.
So AI can take that kind of task and do it. Mm-hmm. And get it done, and allow the worker to really focus on, on what they want to be focusing on, which is, not stamping a sheet of paper 100 times. So I think it's definitely going to change the workforce, but I don't think we're going to lose jobs from it. With any innovation, even with the first innovation of computers back in the day, and as far back in history as you can think, I think that's always been a fear of new inventions and, how is it going to affect the workforce. But, I think it's just going to make things better and more efficient and allow people to really focus on the task that they want to be doing.
That is amazing, too. And, of course, you talked about computers as well, too. Which philosophy have you leaned towards upon? There's always a battle between Microsoft and Apple. Which philosophy have you always leaned on, Bill Gates or Stephen Jobs?
Well, they both have their advantages, that's for sure. And actually at home, I have a Mac and a PC. So I go both ways with the computers. But because I think each one has different advantages. So depending on what I'm doing is the computer that I'll use.
Mm-hmm. And also, too, computers also tie into music as well, too. And you've also composed a number of soundtracks as well, too. Maybe tell us a little bit about some of you've done. And you also got nominated for some, songs as well.
In the
Toscar Film Awards. What was it? Like, oh, my gosh, I think, about 3 years ago you've had a Best Song nomination.
Yeah, within the past couple years has really been when I've started focusing more on music, and that I was working on some scripts for different shows, and you get to know the people that you're working on the project with, and they learned of my musical background, and something came up, like I forget what happened specifically on the project, but we were kind of in a pinch, and they needed a few minutes of music to fill in, a scene in the film. So I was like, yeah, I'll come up with something. Don't worry about it. So that's kind of how that happened. And then since then, I've done a couple more, and then people learned that I was able to do this. And then I've been asked to do a theme song for a show that's coming out this fall. And so it's just, doors have just opened. It's been wonderful.
Mm-hmm. And that's amazing as well, too. And you also, worked on a few movies as well, too. The Project Pittsburgh, Killing Point, Baseball's Last Hero, A Lesson in Love, All Saints Eve. Maybe you can just tell us a little bit about that, especially Baseball's Last Hero. That seems to be very fascinating, considering you're from the Pittsburgh area. And let me ask you this. Are you a Pirates fan, or if you're not, what team do you root for?
Well, I am a Pirates fan through and through, black and gold, and really all the Pittsburgh sports teams, the Steelers, Penguins, Pirates. But with the films, I've held different roles kind of within each project, so it's been a learning experience for sure. Each project has been different. Each one, has just been, the topics have been so varied and different. My brother is a director out here in Los Angeles, and so I've been fortunate enough to work with him on a new feature that's coming out later this year called Canaan Land. So I've been helping him produce that, and I'm actually working on an animated screenplay right now, an animated feature.
Oh,
and getting that done too. So yeah, just keeping busy.
Oh, nice. Love to have you on again. You can just keep us up to date and let us know when that's come out. We'll talk more about that. We'll also talk about a little bit more about the book, and we'll put a wrap on some of the movies. You listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition way. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960, or email email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show to get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/the Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeart Radio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, and Apple. You can take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device and subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on YouTube as well. We're here with Elizabeth Rossi from Pittsburgh, PA, now living in Los Angeles. She's a producer, writer, composer for TV and film. She's worked on the Project Pittsburgh, Killing Point, Baseball's Last Hero, A Lesson in Love, All Saints Eve. She's a musical composer, featured on numerous soundtracks, won quite a few awards, and she's also the author of the textbook Guide to Communicating Better. We touched on some of that, and before we get into more of the book as well, too, you also, did a concept called The Biggest Loser, and how'd you get approached about that?
Well, that was an idea that I had right out of college, I believe. So I came up with a concept for that in 2003, and then I believe it started airing in November 2005. So I had, and I was still in Pittsburgh at the time, so I just was thinking of what would be really interesting to watch, and I myself was on a weight loss journey, and and it was just so transformative from the inside to the outside, just mentally, physically, emotionally. Everything is so affected, and so just to watch these people's journeys as they go through all of that, I thought would be something really fascinating. So I came up with a treatment and sent it off to about 25 different people in Hollywood, and it was on a year and a half later.
Wow, that was amazing. I guess it kind of got the Godfather, Godmother, or whatever you call it, of The Biggest Loser. I think that'd be a really good trivia question. That is amazing how that's become into such a major show on a lot of the networks too, and spinoffs. That was just fantastic. Now I know. That's just great. Oh my gosh. Well, of course, you're a big influence on everybody, and you talked about some of the things you grew up around Pittsburgh, and what are some of your favorite TV shows, and some of your favorite actors, or when it comes to music, some of your favorite musicians growing up?
Well, as far as actors and actresses, I absolutely love Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep. Just the diversity that they have in their range of of characters that they can play. I feel like if I can ever work on a film with them, then I'll have made it. Mm-hmm. So actor and actress, music, I really have a strong appreciation for all kinds of music coming from the family that I do, and with such a diverse musical background there. So for me, when it comes to music now, actually, I listen to a lot of just instrumental music as I'm writing or working, and I just really feel like that helps me think and helps me relax. Mm-hmm. There's an Italian composer named Ludovico Einaudi who is just so incredible. I saw him in concert this summer, and I was just blown away. And then, of course, living at the beach here in LA, I love beachy music, like Xavier Rudd. He's an Australian artist, again, amazing performer, great music, just really good energy. I listen to, and watch just a wide range of everything.
That sounds amazing, too. And, of course, how about some of your favorite movies growing up?
Oh, favorite movies. The Goonies comes to mind, 16 Candles, like those old John Hughes films.
Right, the Brat Pack. Yes, I remember those. Yeah,
I love those.
Mm-hmm. That is something as well, too. And of course, all that gets incorporated, too. And later you became your own author of the textbook. And who are some of your favorite writers that inspire you to be an author?
Favorite authors. Well, there's a mystery writer, Janet Ivanovich. And, I've enjoyed her books. They make me laugh, and they take you kind of outside of the realm of where you are. You just get engrossed in the story. Of course, Dan Brown. I tend to read a mix between some pop fiction, like those kinds of things, and then more on the spiritual side, some like self-help books that really kind of help you discover more about yourself and just grow as an individual.
That is amazing, too. And, of course, this all led you up to writing the textbook, A Guide to Communicating Better, which is out right now. You can tell us where to purchase a book and what are some of the 7 texting pitfalls and what to do if you're in one now.
Well, people can check out the book and more information on the book. It's on the web at the-text-book.com. And there's a lot of good information on there. Of course, Instagram and social media, Facebook, all the platforms. And as far as the pitfalls, there are, I almost named that chapter, the 7 Deadly Pitfalls. But so I think let me think of maybe one of my top ones. I feel like when you text someone, you have no concept of what's going on in their life at that moment. Like where they are, what they're doing. Are they at home, sick in bed from work, and they're like half, doped up on NyQuil and they kind of see your text and fall back over asleep. And then 3 hours later, you're like, why didn't so-and-so get back to me? And so there's a lot, having no context in text, I think, is the subchapter of that pitfall. But so really, just see, you're not at all aware of what's going on with them. So I think that's one of the pitfalls. And because you're not aware of what's going on with them, you kind of expect to get that instant reply. And then if someone doesn't reply right away, you start to feel offended or, but they could be asleep on NyQuil, or they could be out of cell phone range on a hike somewhere, or just enjoying a movie, So I think there's some of that goes on, and then people start to feel offended that, the person didn't reply back right away. That's one thing. I think another thing that happens with texting is we tend to be, I almost want to use the word crueler, because that person's not right in front of you, so you can type something that can be a little hurtful or mean, because that person, you're not going to see the look in that person's eyes, or like, why are you saying this to me? You don't have that emotional connection with them. You're just dealing with a device. So I think that's another pitfall that can happen, unfortunately.
And how about when it comes to dating and relationships? How does texting affect that?
Well, it's really hard to build, I think, any kind of connection over texting. So for that reason, I know myself, I'll go through the initial little bit of introduction or whatever, but really having a phone call, meeting in person, you can't build shared experiences and, build that connection together over text. It's going to take, phone calls and spending time with that person. So I think in the dating realm, if texting is used too much, there's that chance where the people never really reach that level of connection because they're relying too much on texting.
And of course, just to summarize as well, too, we talked earlier, so in a ways that texting is also good to keep up communication, but then it also creates where it's like texting can also create isolation and loneliness as well, too. And of course, just one obvious as well, too, is to be closer, just to, put away the phones. That's common sense. And just one more question before, we just about wrap up. I know you're probably texting everything else, which is good. So, and I don't have to know what you're texting or sending, but of course, that's not my business. And I tell people it's like, just looking over phones, like, hey, if I'm sending something to you, I'll let you know. Otherwise, don't look over my shoulder. That's my thing. So, just lastly, when it comes to texting, when is it okay to use all caps?
Okay, yeah, all caps. This for me was pretty obvious, but there's so many people that I run into where they're like, really? So all caps is okay, for emphasis on words. Or if you really are yelling at someone. But I think my mom sent me a message and it was in all caps, and I messaged back like, "Why are you yelling at me?" But so if you do want to get your point across about, like, for example, if you want to say, "No, I don't like that pizza place," you could put the word "that" in all caps if you want, that was probably an awful example, but but just to just highlight words and sentences. It's a great tool for that.
And of course,
or like the text, you are so cute. You could put "so" in all caps.
Or you could probably say YASC. YASE. You are so cute.
Oh, yeah. You probably could. Yeah, acronyms, of course, too, all caps.
Of course, that's all in the book as well, too. The textbook, which is out right now as well, too. And, of course, just a few more things as well, too. What do you consider a favorite project and the most challenging?
Favorite project... I really like this animation screenplay that I'm working on right now. I think it has so much potential to just, I think it could be another great film for Pixar or Disney or, but just to really reach kids. So that's on my heart. And then I'm also going to be working on a song here, my first single release coming out hopefully later this year or early next year.
Oh, nice. Keep us up to date with that. I'd love to hear it as well, too. And maybe you could sing as well, too, and let us know it's coming out. That'd be fantastic. Yeah. And, yes, we'll definitely have you back on for that. So keep us up to date. And what do you consider the most challenging?
The most challenging, I think for me, the most challenging, actually, I had to write a show about, it was a true crime about a serial killer, John Wayne Gacy. And for me, that was very challenging, doing all of the research and these horrendous, murders that he committed and how he stored it's just, I don't want to get into all the graphic details, but, doing that research and really delving in and having to write a show, like, based on all that, it was very dark. And I was waking up in the middle of the night with nightmares. And so I try to avoid those kinds of things now, but yeah. For me, that's probably the most challenging. No
clowning around for sure as well, too. John Wayne Gacy was a clown before he, got into serial killer. That's why I said that, too. Of course, some of us living in Chicago just read through the stories, and I said, that's enough. I mean, unbelievable. So yeah, we had that. And what do you consider most memorable moment? Most memorable, I think, was the first time in a limo ride going to the red carpet in Hollywood. That just, relishing in that moment and being all dressed up and, heading down for the awards ceremony. It was, that was very memorable. That something I cherish. That is amazing, too, like to see you go down the red carpet more with all the awards you racked up as well, too, as mentioned in your bio. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career? Biggest influence in my career... my oldest brother, Rich, has actually been a pretty big influencer as far as just helping me to think through projects, and I approach him with questions on different things.
And, he's just a wonderful big brother and gives me lots of good advice.
That is amazing, too. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
I think when people ask me this question, I always say there's three things that you kind of have to do. The first is follow your passion, because what is life without passion, right? So follow your passion. And find a way how it's going to benefit the world. The second thing is work hard at it. You have to be persistent. There's so many times I've put in 16, 18-hour days on projects to, try and get things done. So work hard at your passion, hone it, work at it every day. And then the third thing is just to be kind. Be kind to strangers, to your coworkers, because it's a lot easier to be hired on different projects if you're friendly and nice to work with.
Very good advice. I love that. Elizabeth, just want to say a big thank you for your time. You've been fantastic. Look forward to having you on again soon. And once again, tell us about your upcoming projects. What's your website? How do people contact you? And where can they purchase your book, the textbook?
People can go to the-text-book.com to learn more about the book. And all the social media platforms, they can feel free to look me up, Elizabeth Rossi, or the textbook. Instagram, social media, or Facebook, all the major things. We're out there.
That is amazing. Elizabeth, just want to say once again a big thank you for your time. Looking forward to having you again soon. Do us a favor, keep this up to date, and wish you ATB.
Oh, thank you.
And that is all the best. LOL. Okay, that's enough texting.
LOL. That was great.
Thanks for listening to The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Listen online at themikewagnershow.com and on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeart Radio. And watch the interview on YouTube. Also, become a sponsor of the program and or donate today at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again tomorrow for another episode of The Mike Wagner Show.